Chapter 12 Joseph Surah Yusuf. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. Alif Lam Ra. These are verses from the clear book. We have sent down the Quran in Arabic so that you may understand. We recount to you the best of narratives in revealing this Quran to you, even though you were unaware of it before it came. When Joseph told his father, "My father, I dreamt of 11 stars and the sun and moon. I saw them prostrate themselves before me," he replied, "My son, do not relate your dream to your brothers, lest they plot evil against you. Satan is the sworn enemy of man. You shall be chosen by your Lord, and he will impart to you some understanding of the inner meaning of events. He will bestow the full measure of his blessings upon you and upon the house of Jacob, even as he formerly bestowed it in full measure upon your forefathers, Abraham and Isaac. Truly, your sustainer is all-knowing and wise." Surely, in Joseph and his brothers there are signs for the inquirers. They said to each other, "Surely Joseph and his brother Benjamin are dearer to our father than ourselves, although we are a band. Truly our father is clearly mistaken. Therefore let us put Joseph to death, or cast him away to some far-off land, so that our father's attention should turn only to us, and you can thereafter become a righteous people." One of them said, "Do not kill Joseph, but if you must do something, cast him into the bottom of a well. Some of the travelers will pick him up." They said to their father, "Why do you not trust us with Joseph? We are indeed his well-wishers. Send him with us tomorrow, so that he may play and enjoy himself. We will look after him." Jacob said, "It would indeed grieve me if you took him away with you, and I fear lest the wolf should devour him while you are off your guard." They said, "Surely, if the wolf devoured him while we were a strong party, we should indeed be great losers." And so, when they went away with him, they decided to cast him into the dark depths of a well. Then we revealed to him our will. You shall one day tell them of this deed of theirs when they do not realize who you are. And at nightfall they came to their father, weeping. They said, "Father, we went off racing and left Joseph with our belongings, and the wolf devoured him. But you will not believe us, even though we are telling the truth." And they showed him their brother's shirt, stained with false blood. "No," he cried, "your souls have tempted you to do something evil. But it is best to be patient. God alone can help me bear the loss you speak of." And there came a caravan of travelers, and they sent their water drawer to draw water from the well. He let down his bucket into the well, and he exclaimed, "Oh, what a lucky find! Here is a boy." They hid him like a piece of merchandise, but God knew well what they did. Later they sold him for a paltry sum, a few pieces of silver, dirhams. So little did they value him. The Egyptian who bought him said to his wife, "Lodge him honorably. He may prove of benefit to us, or we may even adopt him as our son." Thus we established Joseph in the land, so that we might teach him the true meaning of events. God has power over all things. However, most people do not know this. And when he reached maturity, we bestowed on him right judgment and knowledge. Thus we reward those who do good. However, the woman in whose house he lived wanted to seduce him. One day she bolted the doors and said, "Come." He replied, "God forbid. Truly, your husband is my master and has treated me honorably. Wrongdoers certainly never prosper." She started towards him, and he would have succumbed to her if he had not seen a sign from his Lord. We did this in order to keep evil and indecency away from him, for he was truly one of our chosen servants. They both ran to the door, and in the struggle, she tore his shirt at the back. They found her husband at the door. She cried, "Shall not the man who wished to violate your wife be thrown into prison or sternly punished?" Joseph said, "It was she who sought to seduce me." One of her household testified, "If his shirt is torn in the front, then she is speaking the truth, and he is lying. But if it is torn from behind, then she is lying, and he speaks the truth." So when he saw his shirt torn from behind, her husband said, "This is the guile of you women. Your guile is great indeed. Joseph overlooked this, but you, wife, ask forgiveness for your sin, for you have done wrong." Women in the town began to gossip. "The nobleman's wife is trying to seduce her slave. Love for him consumes her heart. Indeed, we see her in manifest error." When she heard of their intrigues, she sent for them and prepared a party for them. She gave a knife to each of them to cut fruits, etc., and then asked Joseph to appear before them. When the women saw him, they were greatly amazed at his beauty, and they cut their hands, exclaiming, "God preserve us! This is no human being, but a noble angel." She said, "This is he about whom you have been blaming me. And indeed I did try to make him yield to me, but he was unyielding. Now, however, if he does not do as I bid him, he shall certainly be put in prison and be humiliated." Joseph said, "Oh, my lord, I would prefer prison to what these women are inviting me to do. And if you do not avert their guile from me, I may yield to them and so become one of the ignorant." So his lord answered him and warded off their guile. He is all-hearing and all-knowing. Yet even after all the evidence they had seen, they thought it right to jail him for a time. 2 young men entered the prison along with him. One of them said, "I saw myself in a dream. I was pressing wine." The other said, "I dreamed I was carrying bread on my head from which the birds were eating. Tell us their meaning, for we see that you are one who does good to all." Joseph said to them, "I shall inform you of the interpretation of your dreams before your meal is brought to you. This is a part of the knowledge that my Lord has taught me. I have renounced the religion of the people who do not believe in God and who deny the hereafter. I follow the religion of my fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And it is not for us to associate anyone with God as a partner. This is of God's grace upon us and upon mankind, even though most men are not grateful. O my 2 fellow prisoners, how many diverse lords better, O God, the One, the Almighty? All those you worship instead of him are mere names you and your forefathers have invented, names for which God has sent down no authority. All power belongs to God alone, and he orders you to worship none but him. This is the true faith, though most people do not realize it. O my 2 fellow prisoners, one of you will serve wine to his Lord. The other of you will be crucified, and birds will feed off his head. The matter about which you have been seeking my opinion has been so decreed." He said to the one who thought he would be saved, "Mention me to your master." However, Satan made him forget to mention him to his master, and so Joseph remained in prison for a number of years. The king said, "I saw, in a dream, 7 fat cows which 7 lean ones were eating, also 7 green ears of corn and 7 others which were dry. Tell me the meaning of this vision, my nobles, if you can interpret visions." They said, "These are confusing dreams, and we do not know the interpretation of such dreams." Then one of the 2 men who had been released, and who, after a long time, remembered, said, "I shall tell you its interpretation. Therefore give me leave to go to Joseph in prison." "O truthful Joseph," he said, "tell us the meaning of a dream in which 7 fat cows are being eaten by 7 lean ones, and there are 7 green ears of corn and 7 others which are dry, so that I may return to my people and inform them." Joseph said, "You shall sow for 7 consecutive years as usual, but leave in the ear the harvest that you reap, except for a little which you may eat. Then there will follow 7 years of great hardship, which will consume all but a little of what you stored. Then a year will come after that, when people will have abundant rain, and when once more they will press, wine and oil. The king said, "Bring him to me." When the king's messenger came to Joseph, he said, "Go back to your master and ask him about the women who cut their hands. My lord knows well their guile." The king asked the women, "What was the truth of the affair in which you tried to seduce Joseph?" The women said, "God forbid. We know no evil of him." The wife of the nobleman said, "The truth has now come to light. It was I who tried to seduce him. He is surely an honest man." "From this," said Joseph, "the nobleman should know that I did not betray him in his absence, and that God does not guide the plotting of the treacherous. I am not trying to absolve myself, for man's very soul incites him to evil unless my Lord bestows his mercy. Indeed, my Lord is forgiving and merciful." The king said, "Bring him to me. I will take him for my special service." And when he had spoken to him, he said, "From now on you will dwell with us, honored and trusted." Joseph said, "Place in my charge the storehouses of the land, for I am a good and knowledgeable custodian." Thus we caused Joseph to be established in a position of authority in the land. He could dwell therein wherever he pleased. We bestow our mercy on whomever we please, and we do not allow the reward of the righteous to go to waste. Yet the reward of the hereafter is best for those who believe and are mindful of God. Joseph's brothers arrived and presented themselves before him. He recognized them, but they did not know him. When he had made provision for them, he told them, "Bring me your brother on your father's side. Do you not see that I give full measure and that I am the best of hosts? But if you do not bring him to me, you shall have no grain from me, nor shall you ever approach me again." They replied, "We shall try to persuade his father to send him with us. We shall do our utmost." Joseph said to his servants, "Put their money back into their saddlebags, so that they will recognize it when they return home to their family. Thus they may come back." When they returned to their father, they said, "Our father, any further measure of grain has been denied to us, so send our brother Benjamin along with us, so that we may obtain our measure of grain, and we shall guard him well." He replied, "Am I to trust you with him as I once trusted you with his brother? But God is the best of guardians, the most merciful of all." When they opened their packs, they discovered that their money had been returned to them. They said, "Our father, what more do we desire than this? This money of ours has been returned to us, so we shall again buy food for our family, and we shall guard our brother, and we shall obtain an additional camel load of grain. This that we bring now is a small quantity." He, Jacob, said, "I will never send him with you until you give me a solemn pledge before God that you will indeed bring him back to me, unless you yourselves are trapped in a compulsive situation." And when they had given him their solemn pledge, Jacob said, "God shall be witness to all that we say. O my sons, do not all of you enter the city by one gate. Enter by separate gates,